First, everything changed. Picture this. A man who's got everything, money, fame, power, standing in a room full of people who want to tear him down. 1 second of courage, one moment of truth, and the whole world flips upside down. That's where this story starts. And trust me, you're not ready for what's coming. We're in Manhattan, New York City, the heart of ambition and secrets. It's a chilly morning in October, and the federal courthouse on Pearl Street is buzzing. Cameras flash outside, reporters shout questions, and the air feels like it's about to snap. Inside, Tony Stark, yeah, that Tony Stark, the billionaire genius, the guy who built an empire out of nothing, sits in a packed courtroom. Not as a defendant, not as a hero, but as a witness. And let me tell you, this isn't his usual scene. No flashy suit, no witty one-liners, just a man in a tailored jacket, staring straight ahead, knowing every eye in the room is waiting for him to crack. The case? It's a mess. A major news outlet, one that's been digging into government contracts, is on trial for spreading false information. Sounds like a headline, right? But everyone in that room knows it's a setup. The government wants this outlet gone because they've been exposing deals that make powerful people sweat. Tony's here because he funded one of their investigations. Quietly, behind the scenes. He didn't expect it to land him in this courtroom, but Tony Stark never backs down from a fight. The judge, Raymond Caldwell, is a legend in New York. 68 years old, voice like gravel, and a reputation for being untouchable. But there's a whisper in the halls. Caldwell's rulings lean hard toward the government. Cases disappear, evidence vanishes, and nobody dares call it what it is: corruption. Tony's seen it before, but today something feels off. The air's too heavy, the stare's too sharp. Caldwell bangs his gavel, and the room goes silent. "Mr. Stark," he says, his tone dripping with disdain, "you're here to testify about your involvement with this outlet." The way he says involvement makes it sound like a crime. Tony doesn't flinch. He leans forward, voice steady. "I'm here to tell the truth, Your Honor. Nothing more, nothing less." That's when it happens. Caldwell's eyes narrow and he mutters, just loud enough for the front rows to hear, "Truth? From a guy like you?" The words hit like a jam. Tony's jaw tightens, but he doesn't bite. Not yet. The lawyers shuffle papers. The reporters scribble notes, but Tony's mind is racing. He knows this isn't just about the case. This is personal. The problem? Caldwell's got a history with Tony. Years ago, Tony's company exposed a shady deal involving Caldwell's old law firm. It cost the firm millions and left a stain on Caldwell's name. Now here they are, face to face, and the judge is itching for payback. Tony feels it in the room, the tension, the trap. He's not just a witness, he's the target. As the questioning starts, Caldwell's tone gets sharper. "So, Mr. Stark, you think you can just throw money at problems and make them go away?" Tony stays cool. "I think the truth deserves a chance, Your Honor." The room holds its breath. Caldwell's face twists and he snaps, "You don't get to lecture melee about truth." His voice echoes, and for a split second you can see it. Rage, raw and unfiltered. Then it happens. Caldwell stands, his chair scraping the floor. He storms down from the bench, his robes flapping like a vulture's wings. The bailiffs freeze, unsure what to do. He stops inches from Tony, his finger jabbing the air. "You think you're above the law?" he roars. Tony doesn't move, doesn't blink. "I think the law should be above you," he says, calm as ice. And that's when Caldwell loses it. His hand flies up and crack, a slap across Tony's face, so loud it cuts through the silence like a gunshot. Gasps ripple through the crowd. A pen hits the floor. The cameras catch every second. Tony's head barely moves, but a red mark blooms on his cheek. He touches it slowly, his eyes locked on Caldwell's. "Big mistake," he says, voice low, almost a whisper. The room explodes. Reporters scramble, phones light up, and the hashtag @CaldwellSlapStark starts trending before Caldwell even stumbles back to his bench. He calls a recess, his hands shaking, and bolts out of the room. Tony doesn't chase him. He doesn't need to. That slap wasn't just an attack. It was the crack in a dam that's about to burst. Outside, the New York skyline glitters, but the real storm's brewing inside Tony. He steps into a black SUV where his assistant, Emma Carter, is waiting. "Tony, it's everywhere," she says, showing him her phone. Clips of the slap are already viral. They're calling it a scandal. Tony slides into the seat, his face unreadable. "Good," he says. "Let's make it a reckoning." "What do you think about this? Have you ever seen someone stand up to power like that? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm reading every single one." The fire ignites. Imagine a man who's faced every kind of enemy, corporate sharks, public scandals, even his own demons, now standing at the edge of a fight he didn't choose. One slap changed everything, and now the whole world's watching. Tony Stark's not just fighting for himself anymore. This is bigger, and it's about to get messy. We're still in New York City, but the chaos has spilled out of the courthouse. It's late afternoon, and Times Square's giant screens are flashing that clip. Judge Caldwell's hand cracking across Tony's face. Social media's on fire. Caldwell slaps. Stark is trending worldwide, and people are picking sides. Some call Tony a hero, others say he provoked it. But Tony, he's not reading the comments. He's in a sleek office on the 50th floor of Stark Industries' Manhattan headquarters, staring out at the Hudson River, planning his next move. Emma Carter, his assistant, is pacing behind him. "Tony, this is insane," she says, her phone buzzing nonstop. CNN, Fox, even international outlets, they're all begging for a statement. She pulls up a tablet, showing a headline: "Billionaire or Troublemaker? Stark's Courtroom Clash. Shocks Nation." Tony doesn't turn around. "Let them talk," he says, voice steady but heavy. "Words don't win wars." Emma hesitates, then slides a folder across the desk. "This just came in, from Ethan Brooks, that investigative reporter at the City Pulse." Tony finally turns, his eyes sharp. Ethan's been digging into Caldwell for years. Rumors of buried cases, missing evidence, and judges who play favorites for the right price. The folder's thin, but it's dynamite. A list of Caldwell's rulings, all favoring government-backed companies, with one name popping up over and over: Senator William Hayes. Hayes is a big deal in D.C., a smooth-talking senator who's built a career on protecting democracy. But Ethan's notes suggest something darker. Hayes has been funneling money through shell companies and to keep judges like Caldwell in line. Tony's jaw tightens as he reads. "This isn't just about me," he says, almost to himself. "This is a machine, and Caldwell's just a cog." The problem's growing fast. That slap wasn't a random outburst. It was a warning. Tony knows he's poking a bear, but backing down isn't in his DNA. He picks up his phone and dials Ethan. "I want everything you've got on Hayes," he says. No greeting, no pleasantries. Ethan's voice crackles through. "Tony, this goes deep. I've got a source, a former clerk, who says Caldwell destroyed evidence to protect Hayes' donors. But she's scared. She'll only talk if you can keep her safe." Tony nods, even though Ethan can't see it. "Set it up. I'll handle the rest." He hangs up and looks at Emma. "Get the team ready. We're going public, but not yet. We need proof." Emma's face tightens. "Tony, they're already coming for you. Look at this." She hands him her phone, a text from an unknown number. "Keep digging, and your family pays." Tony's eyes darken. He thinks of his wife, Pepper, and their daughter, Morgan, playing in their upstate home. For the first time today, something like fear flickers across his face, but it's gone in a second. Back at the courthouse, Caldwell's holed up in his chambers, the blinds drawn tight. His hands shake as he watches the news on a small TV. His face, red, furious, mid-slap, is everywhere. He mutters to himself, he had it coming. His phone rings. It's Michael Vaughn, a federal prosecutor and Caldwell's old friend. "Ray, you screwed up," Vaughn says, voice cold. "Stark's not some nobody. He's got the money and the guts to burn us all." Caldwell slams his fist on the desk. "He provoked me. He's a showboat, always has been." Vaughn doesn't buy it. Hayes is furious. "If Stark ties this to him, we're all exposed. Fix this, Ray, now." Caldwell nods, sweat beading on his forehead. He dials another number, this time to a PR firm that specializes in crisis management. They're already drafting a statement. Emotional misunderstanding, heat of the moment. Judge Caldwell regrets the incident, but Caldwell knows it's not enough. Tony Stark doesn't forgive, and he sure as hell doesn't forget. Meanwhile, Tony's back in his office, staring at a photo on his desk. Him, Pepper, and Morgan, laughing at a beach house last summer. His cheek still stings from the slap, but it's not the pain that drives him. It's the thought of a system that lets men like Caldwell hurt people and walk away. He's seen it before, in boardrooms, in wars. But this time, it's personal. This time, he's not just fighting for truth, he's fighting for his family, for every person who's ever been silenced by power. The city's alive outside, horns blaring, lights flickering. But inside Tony's office, it's quiet, except for the sound of his breathing. He turns to Emma. Call the communications team. We're not just telling a story, we're starting a movement. Emma nods, but her eyes are worried. Tony, they'll hit back, hard. Tony smiles just a little. Let them try. What would you do if you were Tony, staring down a system that wants to crush you? Have you ever had to stand up to someone powerful? Share your story in the comments. I want to hear it. And hey, if you're hooked, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. The truth bites back. Tony Stark's not just a billionaire. He's a man digging into a system that wants him gone. That slap in the courtroom lit a fuse, and now the truth's burning hot. But when it spreads, it might burn him too. It's night in New York City, and Tony's in a gritty Lower East Side diner with Ethan Brooks, a reporter who's chased Judge Caldwell's dirt for years. Ethan slides a USB drive over. Caldwell's rulings tie to Senator William Hayes, he whispers. A network, donors, prosecutors. Laura Mitchell, his ex-clerk, saw him shred evidence. She'll talk, but she's scared. Tony's eyes harden. Set it up. She's safe with me. Emma Carter texts Tony. Caldwell's meeting Hayes tonight. Midtown Club. Tony's SUV speeds there despite Emma's warning. It's a trap, he shrugs. I've beaten traps before. At the club, he records Hayes telling Caldwell, shut Laura up. Michael Vaughn, Hayes' prosecutor, grabs Tony's arm. You're out of your league. Tony pulls free. You're out of time. Back at the diner, Laura's a wreck, clutching her son's photo. They threatened him, she says. Tony's voice is firm. You're not alone. Speak for your boy. She nods, tears falling. Tony's thinking of Morgan, his daughter. This fight's for her, for everyone silenced by power. The city's asleep, but Tony's awake, the recording in his pocket. This isn't a fight, it's a war, and he's ready. What would you do with proof that could change everything? Share in the comments. I'm reading them all. Hit subscribe to stay in this fight. The line in the sand. Tony Stark's a man who's faced down giants, but now a single text could break him. Stop, or Morgan's gone. He's fighting a corrupt system, and the cost is his family. This is where it gets real. It's midnight in New York, and Tony's in his Stark Industries penthouse, staring at a threat. Morgan won't see her next birthday. His hand shakes, but he dials Emma Carter. Trace it, he says, voice hard. Emma's in Brooklyn, worried. Tony, they're targeting your family. He cuts her off. That's why we fight. At a Queens motel, Judge Raymond Caldwell's falling apart, the news replaying his slap on Tony. Michael Vaughn, the prosecutor, texts. Hayes is furious. Disappear. Caldwell's sweating, knowing Senator William Hayes doesn't forgive. Tony meets Laura Mitchell, Caldwell's ex-clerk, in a Greenwich Village cafe. She's scared, clutching her son's photo. They threatened him, she whispers. Tony's voice is steady. I'll protect you. Tell the truth. For your boy. For mine. Laura nods, tears falling. Emma finds a lead. The threat's tied to Hayes' shell company. Tony's in a midtown studio, going live with the City Pulse. Laura speaks, voice shaky. Caldwell destroyed evidence for Hayes' donors. I'm done staying quiet. Stark fights back trends instantly. But in D.C., Hayes calls PR guru Caroline Reed. Bury them, he snarls. Tony steps out, the city alive. He knows this is war, and he's all in for Morgan, for Laura, for truth. What would you risk for the truth? Share in the comments. I'm reading everyone. Hit subscribe to stay with us. The storm breaks. Tony Stark's fought for everything. But now his daughter's in the crosshairs. A video of Morgan playing with a voice hissing, "She's gone," pushes him to the edge. This is where heroes stand, or fall. It's dawn in New York, and Tony's in Morgan's room, watching her sleep. Pepper's on the porch pleading. "They're threatening her, Tony. Stop." His voice cracks. "If I stop, they win forever." Pepper nods, tears falling. "Come home." He pulls her close. Always. At Stark Industries, Emma Carter's digging with reporter Ethan Brooks. They find emails from Hayes to Carolyn Reed. Discredit Stark, Emma calls Tony, driving to Manhattan. "They're smearing you." Tony's grim. "We've got Laura's testimony. That's enough." In Jersey City, Caldwell's hiding in a safe house, begging Vaughn. "I'll take the fall." Vaughn's cold. "You're done." Meanwhile, Hayes tells Reed, "Make sure Laura doesn't talk." Tony's at a Brooklyn rally, the crowd fired up. Laura speaks, voice breaking. "I was scared, but for my son, I'm here." Cheers erupt. Then Tony's phone buzzes, a video of Morgan at school. One call. His blood runs cold. He grabs Emma. "Get them safe now." To Ethan, "We're going to D.C." Alone in his office, Tony types a speech, thinking of his dad. "Stand for something." The fight's tearing him apart, but he's not quitting. For Morgan, for everyone. Ever had to choose between safety and right? Tell me in the comments. I'm reading them. Subscribe to keep up. The Reckoning. Tony Stark's in a DC courtroom, his family on the line, fighting a system that's crushed too many. This is the moment truth wins or dies. The federal courthouse on Constitution Avenue is chaos. Cameras, protesters, packed seats. Tony walks in, eyes heavy but sharp. The hearing's about Caldwell's corruption, but it's really about Senator William Hayes' network. Judge Evelyn Harper, a fair veteran, presides. Tony takes the stand, voice raw. "A slap started this, but it's for my daughter, for Laura's son, for you." Laura's next, trembling. "Caldwell destroyed evidence for Hayes. I'm done being silent." The crowd's moved, some crying. Emma hands Harper evidence. Hayes' emails, a recording. "Shut Laura up." Vaughn, Hayes' prosecutor, objects, but Harper keeps it. Caroline Reed, the PR spinner, crumbles when the recording plays. "Just my job," she stammers. Harper snaps. "Burying truth?" In his Senate office, Hayes watches, furious, and calls Reed. "Fix this." Her reply, "Too late." Harper suspends Caldwell and orders a Hayes investigation. The crowd cheers, some sobbing. Tony meets Laura's eyes. She mouths, "Thank you." Emma whispers, "You did it." Tony's quiet. Hayes is still out there. Outside, Tony calls Pepper, safe with Morgan. "You made her proud," she says. His throat tightens. The fight's not over, but he's carrying the flame. What would you say in that courtroom? Share in the comments. I'm reading every one. Subscribe for the end. The flame lives on. Tony Stark's fought the impossible, risked it all, and now he's standing at the edge of a truth that could change everything. This isn't just about a billionaire or a hero. It's about a dad fighting for his kid's future. Get ready to feel this one. It's a chilly afternoon in Washington, D.C., and the Capitol steps are packed. People holding signs, chanting "Truth Matters." Inside, Senator William Hayes resigns on live TV, his face pale, his empire crumbling. Tony Stark watches from New York, his upstate home quiet except for Morgan's soft breathing as she sleeps. Judge Caldwell's disgraced, facing charges. Michael Vaughn's talking to prosecutors. Laura Mitchell's testimony and Tony's evidence, bank records, recordings, lit a fire that's still burning. Tony's on the couch with Pepper. Morgan curled up beside him. "You did it," Pepper whispers, but her eyes are heavy. "A new threat came this morning. We're still here." Tony's jaw tightens. He knows the network's not dead. Ethan Brooks calls, voice urgent. "We've got a name. Robert Klein, Wall Street big shot. He's the money behind Hayes." Tony nods. "Keep digging." At a Manhattan press conference, City Hall Plaza's packed. Laura's there, her son smiling. Tony steps to the mic, voice raw. "This started with a slap, but it's for my daughter, for Laura's son, for you. We're fighting for a world where truth wins. The crowd cheers, some crying. A kid hands Tony a drawing. Thank you, Iron Man. His eyes well up as he kneels. No, thank you. That night, Tony tucks Morgan in. Daddy, are the bad guys gone? She asks. He smiles, heart heavy. We're stronger than them, kiddo. Downstairs, the news flashes. Stark pushes judicial reform. New laws are coming. Oversight, transparency. It's a start, but Tony knows the fight's not over. On the barge, he stares at the stars, carrying the flame of truth for Morgan, for everyone. What would you fight for, no matter what? Share your story in the comments. I'm reading them all. If this hit you, hit that subscribe button.